The year was 2019. I was sitting at home wondering how the hell games are made. One Google search later, and I came across Danny, BW Dev, Jonas, the list goes on, and I was like, yes! But I don't know how to do that. Then I discovered Unreal Engine, and I knew what I had to do. 3 years later, and here we are. Everything you just saw is not final. This is just a test level, but this is my cool, epic, and awesome unnamed FPS game. You might have seen it before in my previous clips. I haven't decided on a name yet. Right now I'm just working on getting main things out of the way, like mechanics and movement mechanics. Now I've shown this game to some of my friends, so let's hear what one of them thinks. Okay, well, now you know about the game, but you don't know how I got here. Basically, I started with a blank Unreal Engine project, then worked on basic movement. Didn't take me very long, but that is kind of boring, so let's spice it up a bit. So I added crouching, which used to be sliding, but now it's just crouching. Made better jump, added better gravity. Now with a new feel, let's give it to another friend and see what they think. Amazing words, Fraz. Couldn't have said it any better. Well, that's the movement. Let's make the game a little bit more fancy, eh? So, I started to get to work on grass because, well, grass is nice. So after finding a vid on how to make grass, I got to work. Now, I went through a lot of iterations. First, it was green with dark patches, then it was green with moving lines. Then I realized, wait, this is an alien planet. It could be whatever I want. So I made it purple. Slapped on some of my shaders with a bit of fancy effects, and bam, I'd say we got some good graphics. But this game does not stop at graphics. No. The next thing to do is weapons. Now for weapons I want two things. One being a cool katana, and two being a gun that can change elements. The gun will be in the next devlog, as I haven't started working on it. But you may have seen the katana before if you've seen some of my clips. Or, as I call them, mini devlogs. It's funny though, because one of those mini devlogs got 201 to 203 views just overnight. And what I showed in the clip, I removed from the game. It was a grappling hook. I thought it was pretty cool. I have to admit, it was pretty cool. But it didn't fit the game. The sword though is made up of 5 animations. Walk, run, idle, swing 1, and swing 2. Swing 1 and 2 switch every time you attack, just so it isn't the same animation every single time. Otherwise, it would look really janky and really bad. By the way, 88.9% of you guys are not subscribed, so please do that. Cool. After programming in the sword, it's time for some movement objects, if you know what I mean. I'm talking about jump pads, the weird things that when you stand on them you go boing. They're relatively simple to make, so off I went. First I modeled the jump pad and brought it into Unreal Engine. Once I realized how I'm going to make this thing, I started to code it. Created an active blueprint, dragged in the model, then added a box collider on top. The way it works is once any character walks onto the top, it gets the forward direction of this arrow, then multiplies that by the launch strength variable, and then applies this value to the velocity of the character, thus launching it. Jump pads are cool and all, but you know what's even cooler? Wall running. Now I love wall running, so I was quick to add this into my game. The way Raw 1 works is it shoots 2 lasers, one of each side of the player. These are called line traces. One of these line traces hits something. It detects if you can run onto it. If this is true, it tilts the player's camera slightly in the opposite direction, disables gravity, and locks the player on the Z-axis. If the player jumps off the wall, then it launches the player slightly up and in the opposite direction of the wall. When the player falls off the wall, it re-enables gravity and unlocks the Z-axis. Once all this was done, I modeled up some trees and placed them throughout the map. And by throughout the map, I mean 2 trees in 2 spots. Oh yeah, the previous clips with the geese, well, that is the same game, I just changed the idea of the game a lot. Now, those signs are still in the game. The way they work is really cool. You just place a sign down, and on the right, there are 2 variables, text and sound. Sound is the way it plays when a letter is typed. The text is just text. I press on the plus, and on the text array, I type what I want it to say. If I want a new line, then I just hit the plus again. It's a really nice system and it works quite smoothly. I went back to my crouching after this and added a sort of hop-like system that when you crouch and jump, you launch forward a tad. This is really fun and would be really good for speedrunning. Another thing that is really cool that I'm really proud of is the sound. Like, it is so cool. So first of all, the sound of the jump pads is the sound of a bus door opening that I found, and then I tweaked it a little bit so you don't hear the clank of the door. It's simply just the hiss of the air. The walking of the grass is all just walking grass, but something really cool about the walking footsteps is there's surfaces. So you walk on the grass, you hear grass steps, and as soon as you step on foot onto that little test building that I made, bam, footsteps instantly change into this sort of stompy, concretey kind of sound effect, which I absolutely love. I'll play a couple clips now of me testing out the audio, but it is so cool. I'm so proud of this system. One thing I do need to add though is swinging of the sword, so like a whoosh sound effect. Like, it's really annoying just swinging it around and not hearing anything. So I need to note that down. Okay, on to the clips now. My plans for this game, well, is to add a gun, work on the loot and NPC systems, add a story. I'm not so sure with what I want for a story, but I want it to do with interdimensional travel. Maybe like you work for some company who discovered ways to travel to other dimensions, and you were tasked with going through these dimensions and learning about them. I'm not overly sure, but I do like the sound of that. I'm not sure when the next devlog will be, so keep your eye out. Thank you Alfeda and Fraz for screaming in this video, and thank you for watching, and sticking around to the end. By the way, I have a Twitter and Instagram, so you know what to do. Bye.